what you're looking at is the subway entrance at Church Street in Lower Manhattan. This is the World Trade Center. Actually, it's the last stop on the E train. It's called the Chambers Street Station, but it used to say the World Trade Center Station. They've changed that. Pull back and you pan to the right, and what you see is what's left of this is where the World Trade Center would have been. That's basically it. I'm going to walk up to the corner here. This is Vesey Street. We're standing on the corner of Vesey and Church Street. Now, what I thought I'd do today is walk through the events that I wrote about in my book, The First Responders, the untold story of the NYPD and September 11th. And this corner that I'm standing on at Church and Vesey is where the Emergency Service Unit had their command center. And of course, directly across the street, as we'll zoom right in a little bit more here, is the rebuilding of the World Trade Center. That's exactly where it stood. It's like 20 feet across from where I'm standing right now. Let's cross over and see a little bit more. Well, Vesey Street is to the left. What you see to the right is a black iron fence that surrounds St. Paul's Trinity Church, which is directly opposite World Trade Center, and it has its graveyard here in the back. I'm going to go through these, and you can see the graveyard. There's the church. This graveyard goes back several hundred, all the way back to George Washington. As a matter of fact, George Washington was inaugurated at this church. And I remember on September 11th, this whole graveyard was covered in about a foot deep of white dust. And all the buildings surrounding the perimeter of the Trade Center, from Vesey Street to West Street to Liberty Street, were on fire. And everyone thought that this church was saved by a miracle. And what was interesting is that you see these trees here. There was clothing hanging on the branches of these trees, and I don't know where the clothing came from. Maybe it was ripped off to people who died in the plane, or perhaps in the towers, and their clothes just floated in the air and just landed on these trees. Anyway, I just noticed on Vesey Street a 9/11 memorial preview site. So I'm going to cross the street and see what this is all about. Now this looks more like a tourist thing. That's what the 9/11 preview site is. You can buy some t-shirts. You can buy bookmarks. And you can buy some 9/11 books. Where's my book? More books. And on my way. And you can get a FDNY t-shirt, or you can get an NYPD t-shirt. On the other side of the room, you got pictures and everybody's standing around reading it. So now I know what's in the 9/11 Memorial Preview site. Okay, we're going to leave Church and Vesey, and we're going to walk up Church Street here towards Barclay. And to my right, you see everybody standing, is the Church of St. Peter's. And we'll just walk up to the Church of Ground Zero. There we go. Take a good look at it. This was found September 13th, 2001. It was blessed October 4th. And it was temporarily relocated October 5th, 2006. And it will return to the World Trade Center Museum. Okay, let's continue. Walking up here. Now in my book, the first responders, Team 5, one of the ESU teams, who had been trapped on the plaza, they dug themselves up. They walked up this block and to Barclay Street, right here, and they made a right turn, and they saw some very steep steps. And at first they thought it was a bank, but then when they went inside, they saw that it was really the Church of St. Peter's, and that is where they sat for a while and got a second breath. Well, where we are right now is Park Place, which is about 2.5 blocks away from the World Trade Center. This is the Dakota Roadhouse. This is the location where the mosque is going to be built. It's not in front of Ground Zero. Across the street is just another building. It's approximately 2.5 blocks away from Ground Zero. So take a closer look.
Just like Temple and Emmanuel took over part of Fifth Avenue. Just like St. Peter's took over part of Church Street. Just like
that's exactly right. So what
that's
you're
the
saying?
basic building block of this country. It's based upon the ability to read the words of Thomas Jefferson.
A number of people were killed.
Yeah, a number of them were Muslims.
That's horrible.
A number of them
I know
were
they were. They were all different
Yesterday, the firemen had an honored a single. Yesterday, the firemen honored a single man that gave treason. They took him down the street and they took the idea of this man and honored him at a place of worship nearby where he died. Do you think the mother and father, Mr. Hamdani, would like to have a place where they could worship where their son died? How about a mosque? It's not in sight.
I can't.
I'm trying to really understand.
That's what makes America. I'm against
we're not letting each other. No, but wait. We're not letting each other speak here, and I want to let you speak, right? So what I'm asking you is, you say that it's terrible, and I hear that, right? But you have to substantiate that. Why is it terrible? Why? I don't understand.
Because it was the Muslims that did that. I'm sorry.
You say the Muslims.
I'm not saying all of them are bad.
Okay.
But let's face it, there's so much hate in the world, and they hate us. They hate Christians.
Isn't
They want to do away with the Jews. No, come on.
Isn't that like anything else? Isn't that like
It
racism
is,
against
but
black
this
people?
is terrible. This is terrible.
Wait. Let's go part.
There's no point, and I'll never change my mind.
No, but you can't say
and
that.
I'm not the only one. 70% of the people in this city don't want this God. And no, I'm sorry.
Bigot is somebody who won't change their mind.
That's right. Listen, everybody in this world is a racist. Don't tell me that everybody loves everybody.
Good time.
Here's the dialogue.
Every single